Give me just a second to get us clipped and situated. I took my camera stand to the beach, so I haven't had a second to like get it situated again. So I hope that's not too close. I think it's gonna be okay. I do want to address that god awful sound in the background that sounds like a buzzing, humming, God, I don't know what. It is basically a mega vacuum. The wonderful neighbor that I had across the hallway has moved out, and apparently they have chosen this afternoon to come up and have the super duper vacuum situation company deal with it, which is just lovely, don't you think? But they pretty much kicked up right about the time I was getting ready to film, and it was kind of too late to tell you guys. I'm super sorry about that. Let me just make sure I get everything set up the way I need to be. And I think we're good to go so that I can see the chat and get started. So yes, super sorry about the annoying ass sound. If I could do anything about it, I would. I wish they would just close the door, but there was like a vacuum pipe thing that's going like down the hallway into their truck, and it's a whole thing. So I'm really sorry. So unpleasant. Now let's talk about wine. So I'm definitely still feeling the beach vibes. So this is actually from the Original House wine. It's super cheap. Normally if you have a Kroger as an option to shop at, they sell them there usually for like 2 for $10 or something. They're in like a pink container, and this is the red sangria, so it's a wine cocktail, and I think like 2 cans equal 1 bottle of like full wine or something, but it's super great. It's really fruity, and it does have a small amount of carbonation to it, but it's a strong red sangria. So I really like this one. And it definitely gives me beach vibes, but it also gives me taco vibes, and I had enchiladas, I guess Mexican vibes, but I had enchiladas for dinner, so it seemed very appropriate, and it was still in the wine family. So now let's get started with the planners themselves. If you are having a cocktail as well, I would love to know what it is. I'm always looking for new suggestions. If you are not drinking a cocktail, I still want to know what you're drinking, and maybe what you're working on while you watch this, if you are here in the live stream, or if you are watching the replay. I'm so out of practice. I've basically not filmed any type of content really over the last week and a half because of the trip and getting ready for the trip, and doing vlogs and stuff where there's not quite as much chatting. So if I'm a little rusty, I'm sorry. We're gonna start with the one that usually gets the least amount of attention because it gets the least amount of work during the month. And I find myself playing catch up in this little guy more often than not. And this is the budget planner. So each tab has expense tracker sheets that are from the Happy Planner, and I just track the expenses. And my goal is always to come in under 150. So I write the total, and then if I'm over or under, one thing that I did, sorry, I won't go too far ahead. So as far as May goes, I do need to do the 28, I feel, so you'll see some weird gaps and things, maybe making sure I put in due dates because it's not something that I think of. Wow, that's so noisy. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. If I really could do something about it, I would. I really, really would. I want to say all of my totals are in here. Like I said, I just need to go back and put some due dates in here. The only thing that I know is actively missing. I'm going to also endeavor to use correct grammar. Good luck to that. I need to plug in the 29th, 30th, and 31st because some purchases were made leading up to the trip. That do need to go in here. Like I did finally pick up the Michael's jars. I did get gas on the way out to Jeff's. I did treat myself to some Five Guys the day before the trip because I was running around like a mad woman. So I need to plug in a couple things. And I am already on track so far for June. So, like I said, we're not going to spend a ton of time on this because it is always like something I feel like I'm playing catch up on. I do feel like this system still needs some work, and the fact that I am about to sneeze is why I think I'm pausing so much, because I can feel it in my nose. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. I can definitely tell I've gotten back to Georgia and all of its beautiful allergies. I feel like all of 2022, I did really, really well with the tracking, and now it's just shifting it over to like a different system. And I really, really wanted to do cash envelopes, and I feel like I gave it a really good go, and I'm not done with trying to do it. I've just learned how to better prepare. And I will say, if you were looking at doing cash envelopes and you're typically a person that doesn't, I don't know how to put this, that doesn't just normally pull money from their debit card. Like if you use your debit card pretty regularly and you don't run off of like, you know, like store cards or bonus points or anything like that, I feel like it might be an easier transition. But for me, it was really hard to go from, okay, I pay this so that I can use this card at this store for these points, to cash system. And it was really jarring to then juggle that around with a budget. So I think that was a lot of the issue. If I just said that and it made zero sense to you, I'm really sorry, but in my brain it made sense. But I did struggle quite a bit with going to pay all these bills, don't use any of the credit, quote unquote, that you've now gained in paying those bills. So I guess I'll use Target as a reference. So I'll pay my Target card, and then I usually put even more on there so that like if I know that maybe Target's having a deal, I will use my Target card to not just get the 3% back, but I'll also use it to get a deal or whatever the case may be. So during the cash envelope system, when it first kicked off, I really endeavored not to use any of the cards. And that ended up just being problematic. And I think that the number one thing I've learned is just to set yourself up better, like farther in advance. Like instead of maybe having 1 month's worth of envelopes ready, try to have anywhere from 2 months to a quarter ready to go, which takes a lot, but it will set you up so much better from the get-go, and to give you enough time to really acclimate, and then also create some cushion for moments that you may go over or under and you can't use that card to catch you, if that makes sense. I feel like it makes sense, but just trying to throw that out there. One thing I did get for myself though, regarding this binder and cash envelopes, are these super pretty envelopes. I've already tucked them back in November, and they're so lovely. It's these three right here, and they're just a newer collection that's come out with Happy Planner. If I could have this envelope 1,000 times over, I would. I love bees. But I love that. Home is the nicest word there is. And I popped these in November because they definitely gave me that stay at home vibe. And again, I do think I'm not done with I'm not ready to put the cash envelope system completely to bed, but I am spending the next couple months really getting my crap back together and prepping for the fall and trips. And I really kind of had to shift gears. I am still trying to be more conscious of the limit that's in the forefront of my mind more than the cash side. So just staying on that $150 a week limit and really focusing on saving and building that nest egg back up and liquidating some of this debt so that as I approach next year, I can hop back on the cash envelope trade. Hopefully I'll be able to before the end of the year, but I'm just saying I'm already very prepared that it's not going to be something that I could do for the full year, and I kind of just need to take a step back and rejigger some things and prep better, and that's okay. And I think that that's super important when you're trying something new, and especially something as heavy as finances. You really need to be in a constant investigative mode and give things a good try, but you also need to make sure you're making smart decisions and pulling out of things that no longer serve you or that you may need to rework a little bit. So I just wanted to chat on that for just a minute. It does, like I say, need a little bit of work to finalize for May, but other than that, it's pretty much up to date. Little sip of wine. Next is a super cute little guy. So I do have some fun things to share with May. So for my Hobonichi weeks, I use it as a health and fitness planner. So I did want to try a couple new things this particular month. Typically, I've only been using kind of, oh my God, did it stop? Oh, that's beautiful. Watch, like that, I might be speaking out of turn, but it may restart again. I'm really sorry about the noise if it does. What I have been doing is using this left-hand side to track all my workouts. And then if I need extra space or something like that, or I have a longer workout, I'll, kind of nod over to the right side a little bit. So for May, I decided that I wanted to test out these cute little trackers that I've been seeing in a couple people's Hobonichi weeks. What I really wanted to accomplish with the little tracker is things like I wrote. So my skincare routine, morning and night, I wanted to start trying to implement eye cream into my routine as well. Workout, I don't necessarily think I needed that little tracker bubble there, but I felt like it just kind of went with the theme. And then supplements and meds. So really the main things that I want to track for a little bit in this planner are just my skincare routines, AM, PM, obviously the eye cream, like I said, and then supplements and meds. While I am really good about taking my meds, I'm not so great about taking my supplements. This happened to be a really strong week. I think it was just honestly the excitement of tracking something new and trying out a new thing. And I wrote down what supplements I was taking. And then I started using this little bar as maybe like a checklist. So if I needed to pick up some medicine or refill some supplements, I had that at my disposal as well. Again, I felt like I was having a really strong week because you can see I've got 4 different workouts going on here, which is a little bit more than normal by 1. So it's not like a ton, and there are stronger weeks, but this was definitely a good solid start. And then I do use, these are Hobonichi stencils. I use the green one to do like little hearts, and those are for intimacy. And then I have a color coding system that I like, and I'm not going to share because I feel like that's a little bit more private. But I do think that it comes in handy just every once in a while. It's been nice to kind of like reflect on that. This was a very strong week for workouts. I was definitely starting to fall off a little bit with the eye cream, and I was kind of slacking with the supplements again. Like I had like such a really, really strong week the first week, and my skincare was starting to lax. I can definitely tell I was switching over and kind of going through. I started kind of freaking out a little bit more about the trip and prep and things like that. So I was definitely working out when I was feeling anxious. And I think I was anxious about looking a certain type of way on a beach trip. I think that that's perfectly normal. I feel like everybody kind of goes through that a little bit. So I honestly think I have literally I had 6 workout days, which was really nice. And then I still use the same green stencil to do my little circles to track my my period. And again, I kind of have a system for that. And I think that as long as you know the system or create a key somewhere, I think that this style of tracking is really helpful. Again, this is health and fitness. So this is meant to go into my purse and be readily accessible. If I'm in the doctor's office, you'll sometimes see notes of where I've taken Tylenol or maybe Advil Sinus and Flonase. Like I was having some sinus issues around that time, cramps. Like I'll make little notes here and there. I know there are plenty of apps out there that will allow me to do the same thing, but there's something really comforting to having it all handwritten down in a notebook as well. This week was a hot mess. So because of the fact that this was so full, I couldn't put my period tracker bubble in there, and so they all ended up like in the main bar, which is fine. But as you can see, definitely lighter on the workouts. This had more to do with some stress that was part trip related, part personal related. I was just really not in a good headspace. We had a lot going on. I say we, my boyfriend and I had just a lot going on, and there were a lot of kinks to work out before we left for the beach. And I was really feeling the strain. I had a lot of anxiety about the trip itself. This time of year tends to hold an extra layer of anxiety and just sensitivity for me, for personal reasons. And I was in it all. And I was very deep in the Mariana Trench of feelings and bad negative thoughts. So that definitely reflected in this, in the efficiency of this particular spread. Flipping over, I did no workouts because we left for the beach on Thursday. Wednesday was spent getting ready. And while I had the best of intentions to try to get some stuff done on Monday and Tuesday, especially with Monday being a holiday, it was really just all hands on deck, get ready for this trip, get all the ducks in a row, and try not to completely have a meltdown. I could see the light at the end of the tunnel of the anxiety pool, but I was just still I was crawling in mud to get to the finish line. And I can officially say that now that we're in June and the trip is over, that it was a wonderful trip. It was not without, its moments like any trip would be, but honestly, if I had to rate it, I would even rate it as high as a 4.5 star trip, like really and truly. And I only dock it the half star because when you've got 8 people and you're all family, there's going to be some turbulent moments, but I still feel like 4.5 stars is really high praise. But I do really like the tracker. I'm going to continue it, and I think that it's going to be fun to see it kind of evolve over time and see kind of what things I'm tracking. Again, I picked these things because, one, I'm not the best at my skincare routine. I always get it in at least once a day. Definitely like the beach trip you're going to see where I just let the salt water heal me because I was just not into it. Like I was either in the water or on the beach all day, and I would come inside, rinse off, and just get my butt in the bed. Like I was so zonked out. I wasn't really caring about working out. I really wasn't caring about much of anything other than being present, being with everybody, and just kind of fitting in things where I could. I really was not overly concerned with checking every tracker box. So that is it for the Hobonichi Weeks for May. So we'll put that little card out to the side. We're going to collect our little stencils and pop them back in here. There's nothing new to report in the life book, so we can flip past that and go straight to the tracker. I will go ahead and say that I have not done my money plan totaling for the month of May either, and that is because it is dependent on the budget planner. So once the budget planner is ready to go, which will probably be later this evening, if I'm being honest, then I'll go ahead and get the rest updated. This little guy is going to be hard to get completely and totally in frame, I think, just the way I have the camera. So I'm really sorry if I make anybody seasick, but let's see if we can kind of fix this up a little bit. Again, I did take my camera stand with me on the trip, so it's not in its normal place. I feel like that's as good as it's gonna get for right now. I just need to make sure I don't jigger it too much. You can tell that even with the cover on cover, this planner goes with me everywhere because it's definitely looking a little ratty in some places. All right, little sip of wine. All right, so let's talk tracker for May. And I feel like with the fact that April was only 1 day shorter, we might have a little bit more of an accurate depiction. So waking up at 5, 52%, that's pretty freaking awesome. I'm really happy with that. Working out 48, I am really happy with that. I know in my heart of hearts it could have been higher. I think what really did me in was this slump right about here. And again, that was just being in a bad headspace. And I'm not saying that, you know, you shouldn't work out. You know, there's a lot of times that, you know, taking a good run or doing a 10-minute workout can really boost my mood when I'm in a place like that. It was just prepping for a trip, being in that mood, not knowing how to see my way out truly, that just had me in. And sometimes it's like that, and that's okay. 10,000 steps, 81%, which is just a smidget down from last month. Power hours, 66 last month and 84 this month. So that's a nice big jump. I did become more aware of it and just trying to, I feel like sometimes I have a love-hate relationship with the power hours thing because I feel like sometimes I can get a little crazy and put too much emphasis on it. But I feel like this month I really tried to shift my focus to be, it's not an inconvenience to get up and make sure that once every, you can even go longer than an hour if you think about it, because I would basically get, I think you can go like almost to 2 hours without moving, because I would say, you know, at 9 o'clock, go ahead and get all 250 steps, like just walk nonstop, which doesn't take that long. And then I would tan and read my book outside. But when it got down to the like 10 till mark of the next hour, and it would like buzz and tell me to get up, I would get up and walk and like go back to the apartment or something like that. So I tried to just treat my power hours this last month like an opportunity to stop what I'm doing, kind of get present, and go take a walk. Like step away, make sure you hit your goal. It was a great time for me maybe to go check the mail or take the recycling or something like that, or go get the mail at the office. It allowed me to just take a pause, back away from the to-do list, and take a breath. And I really just tried to look at it through that lens. As far as water goes, let's see. So a jump of 8%, which is great for me. If you guys have hung out for a while, you'll know I am the worst about getting my water intake. And the beach trip definitely set me back a good bit because I was doing good to get like 32 ounces down most days. But I can definitely tell I'm trying to get back on track these last couple days since I've gotten home. The no sweets, the life struggle right there. I would definitely prefer sweets to any other thing, but just kind of seeing that little bump, and again, being situationally aware. I'm not trying to quote unquote deprive myself. I'm just trying to make a little bit more health conscious, here I go with the, I promised I wouldn't mess up my grammar. I'm just trying to be a little bit more health conscious. So switching out for maybe a healthy alternative, like maybe switch that sweet, maybe switch the cookie for a yogurt or granola bar or something like that. Just trying to switch some things around. But I'm a sucker for a treat. I know I feel like I mentioned this in the last video, not last video, but last flip through or setup, talking about I may shift the goal to be like under a certain amount of grams of sugar or calories of sugar, so that I shift away from the idea of like, you can't have that sweet. This planner, sorry, hi, welcome. This planner is my Cocoyo. Thank you so much. This is a Cocoyo Jabun Techo A5 Slim. It also comes, I believe, in a B6 Slim. You can get them off of JetPens. They may be sold out for the year though. I'm not 100% certain because obviously like we're in June and 2024 planners are going to start releasing soon. But yes, it's just a little bit smaller than a cousin. And the perk is it's more in English than in Japanese. And when we get into the weeklies, I think you're really going to get excited. But thank you for joining. And if you have any further questions, just feel free to pop them in the chat. I'm happy to answer. So yes, so back to, I'm just trying to kind of wrap my head around what I want that sweets tracker to really look like. I really don't have an alcohol issue. And that's not me being like low key about it. I really don't. Like, I do love a glass of wine with dinner. As you can see, it's 81%. I can promise you that this was literally like a glass of something or one seltzer. I'm just not into it as much. You know, I love a glass, and I definitely did drink at the beach every single day that we were there. But yeah, I definitely don't have an unhealthy relationship with it. I'll put it that way. I can't promise that I have that same relationship with sweets. And a big thing that I talk about when I'm discussing trackers is the fact that, to me, I don't view trackers as necessarily a goal chart. I view it as a tracker, which is what it is. I'm okay if I don't hit that workout for the day. I'm okay if I don't get the water intake. My goal is to see, am I getting better at this? Am I getting worse at this? I get in the same avenue, I could create a no spend. And I have done those in the past. I would ideally want it to be the lowest of the percentage possible. So it just depends. I just genuinely do use a tracker as a tracker. I'm not here to beat myself up if I don't hit 100%. Project Life and Hobonichi. Project Life got done a little bit. I feel like I'm holding at 6%. I would definitely like to see an increase in that. But to do that, I really do have to make sure that a lot of my content is done in advance, because the Project Life videos just do tend to take quite a bit longer. My Hobonichi is up, like way up. So I have got my Hobonichi sitting at 58%. I was plugging through it, man. I really was there for a good little stretch. I think it did me a lot of good through kind of the mental health dip to be working on my Hobonichi, because it let me look at older entries, see any patterns that were reemerging, which again, as I said before, this does tend to be a really rough time of year for me, mentally and just for a particular facet of my life. And I needed to feel all the feels and read the entries and get out this year's emotion. So it was really handy. And so I did ramp that up a good bit. Reading was way out of orbit. It's not something that I had tracked last month, so I really don't have a percentage to compare it to. I was trying to finish the book I was reading before I left for the beach, and I actually finished it on the ride down. So I was just trying to crank out a good chunk every day. The organization project kind of stalled out a little bit, which was unfortunate, but I do think that's a tracker that I'm going to keep around for a while. Just And when I say 10-minute organize, it is 10 minutes that is dedicated to maybe a larger project that you've got going that you feel like you never really have the time to get to, that just kind of always seems to get shoved to the back burner. So maybe you want to reorganize your closet. Maybe you've got a filing cabinet full of stuff. Just saying, hey, I'm going to start a timer and I'm going to spend 10 minutes just trying to get through this stack or this thing. So some of the things I did with my closet, I know for a fact, were breaking down my closet. So I just went through the rack and I organized everything by sleeve length. I'm weird. And in doing so, I made sure everything was on a hanger appropriately. I called out things that I don't wear anymore. And then I did a Play-Doh's run, and it was awesome because it ended up paying for me to have a nice dinner out with myself. So it was a good 10 minutes spent all around. But another kind of my at work projects right now are things like getting through our filing stack, because ever since we lost one of our office members, it's just been really hard to sometimes balance that person's workload as well as kind of a lot of the more menial things of my workload. So those just tend to get backburnered and then they build up. So just being able to take 10 minutes to sort through a filing stack or maybe go into a room and organize it a little bit better, just definitely helps my mojo. And it feels like I'm kind of chipping away at it a little bit. So I definitely suggest that maybe making a list of those projects and breaking down some things that you can do to make a dent in it. I would recommend that, like a rack breakdown or maybe totes or organized shoes, something that maybe won't take very long, like 10 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, and pick a good time. I love flipping on a podcast when I can. And most of my podcasts are an hour. So that's really awesome if I can flip on a podcast and dedicate a whole hour because I'm not worried about sitting down and watching a show or going into, work on anything else. I can just turn the podcast on and work through a project. Calorie deficit is still going to be a goal for now. I did okay. I would really love to see me hit like 50% with that, since a lot of my goals are centered around to kind of pulling down on my weight a little bit and just being a little bit kinder to my body and working through that. So it was nice to see it get to 32% and see that little bit of bump. Okay, so we are gonna flip over to not June, but the May monthly. So as you can see, I went ahead and we'll start with the sidebar. I've already put in all of my bullet journal icons of what got migrated over to June. You'll see a couple lines drawn through. So holiday storage, cookbooks, and ephemera. I just don't feel like they're necessarily serving a purpose on this list. Holiday storage is something I can tackle later in the year. Cookbooks is just not, I have cookbooks, they're on a shelf, there's nothing wrong with them. I think in my brain, I just want to organize and kind of purge through some of those recipes, because I also save like Home Chef cards or any other like Marley Spoon meal kit type of cards, and they just kind of get tucked into the books and thrown on the shelf. So it's just not as organized as it could be, and I probably have duplicates of some of the cards that were my favorite recipes that I ordered. Ephemera, dear Lord, that needs to go in a 10-minute project world, and that's just, again, not at the forefront of my mind, so it doesn't need to be hopping from one month to the next, and I'm okay with that. Most of these projects got scooted over, as they usually do. They're there so that I can see them. They're there if I feel like chipping away at it in a 10-minute project, but they're not always there to reach total completion. As far as work goes, I was super happy with what I accomplished in a work sense in May. I got ahead on videos, which felt fantastic. I was on time with all May content. I'm a little disappointed because my 12 p.m. upload for today is not going to happen, obviously, at 12 p.m. It'll happen probably later today or possibly even tomorrow if I have any uploading issues. And that's just to be expected coming back from the trip. My Sunday uploads are fine. It's the Wednesday ones that tend to have a little bit of an issue because I am trying to make sure that Wednesday uploads are planner related instead of paper crafting or memory keeping. So that means that I really need to edit one of the vlog videos and get it put together and up. Fingers crossed I can do that this evening, but I have made my peace with the fact it may be tomorrow, and that's okay. You'll also notice like a couple arrows and things. I learned really quickly, and I've said this before, I'm not really great at planning social media posts. So it is better for me to do a little circle and check it on the day that I actually posted it. So that's what all the arrows are for. It's switching it to whatever day it actually happened on. I got much better at it after the 17th. All of these were, on, I don't know why I hit that one, but all 3 of these were on those days. And I just wrote down whatever I posted to the Coffee Monster Co. group on that day. If you hang out over there, make sure to give me a wave. I try to post my weekly spreads, and then I want to try to start posting my monthlies a little bit more. And like other tips and tricks and things. Like I did like my washi collection here. I definitely want to post some travel hacks and tips for anybody that's not hanging out over here to see that video whenever I do it. So I thought that this turned out really well. I like the color choices. Again, I'm really happy with the fact that I got the May content in as quickly as I did and got to start working on June. It means that I am going to feel very confident and successful with the live streams for the month. And it's really just going to put my mind at ease to know I'm ahead and that we can just comfortably get through the month, which is always nice. And then again, physical files at work has been my 10-minute project there, and my closet project's been my 10-minute project at the house. I've also been cleaning a lot in those 10 minutes. So my monthly spreads aren't really busy anymore because it's just meant for content creation. It used to also hold like my fitness things, but as we were talking earlier, that's moved over to a Hobonichi Weeks. Okay, have I already? No, I haven't. I was double checking myself. Okay, perfect. Now we're gonna go into the weeklies. I had to think about that for a second because I do want to show you guys my TV tracker situation, my show tracker that I've been working on, because I did run out of space. I knew I was going to run out of space. If you've been hanging out, you knew I was going to run out of space. But I will make sure to show you that before we wrap the video up in the end. So first things first, I did choose to do Star Wars every single week for the entire month of May. I really did want to try to have like a mermaid moment, but that just wasn't going to happen. I'm trying very hard to remember which ones are plan with me's and which ones are vlogs. And the only way I'm going to be able to do that is to cheat and look. Okay, so this was a plan with me. So this week I used the Coffee Monster Co. Star Wars. I wish she would revamp this. It would make my whole world. I would buy all the rolls. I'd probably buy like 5 because I'm obsessed. I think it's so great. I love the colors that I chose. And if you want to know more about this week, again, there is the full plan with me available already on the channel. Some things that I like the most about this week are the color choices. I do love this like burnt yellow mustardy color to match with C3PO. I do like that Was this where I started doing it? Yes, this is where I started doing the YouTube icon anytime I had YouTube videos to work on and through. So I really liked that. This week was also very full. So I had Beltane, May the 4th, Cinco de Mayo, Revenge of the Sixth, International Scrapbook Day. King Charles was coronated that day. There's so much. There was a birthday party Saturday as well. What was that? The week of the party? No way. That couldn't have been the week of their party, but I feel like it was. I think that's a lie. I don't think that no, that was not. Was that day? Jury's out. I feel like I had a birthday party that day too, but I could be very, very wrong. I think I am very, very wrong. That's just my brain working right now. But I also love that I got to finally use up this little piece. I am terrible at getting through kits. Awful at it. But I do love how this spread looks and how much I know happened this week. This week, I did not do a plan with me. I only did a vlog, and I did it on the 9th. That vlog is already up and available for watching. Again, I think as far as this week goes, since I don't have like a full week video that you can reference, I think some of the more exciting portions, I love the washi that I chose. It's from Sweet Bean Plants, and it was actually a sample that I had. So that was really nice to like get to use that. I love the blue and the softness in comparison to some of the other spreads. Mother's Day was that weekend, so I had brunch, which was really nice. I watched Shadow and Bone season 2. Yeah, I think this week turned out really nice. And I do love that, like, even though that green is a little bit too bright for Grogu, I do like the brightness. This week, the 15th through the 21st, is a plan with me. So the whole week is available and already uploaded to the channel for you guys to enjoy. Some things that and this is a washi from Every Minute a Story. It's the only collection from Every Minute a Story that I own. I think I have some sample washi from the Wizarding, and I might have like some random sticker sheets that I purchased when I bought this collection, but I do not own. I own a very, very, very small amount of Every Minute a Story. There's a whole story behind that. And this is where I kept getting confused because I knew that there was a birthday party somewhere on a Saturday. This is where it was. This was Addie's 6th birthday. Another thing I really love about this spread is how I switched up the YouTube icons and I chose not to color them in. I really, really like it not colored in. You'll see in a spread in a minute where I do color them in. One, because I did it accidentally, and then I had to have them all match. So that was that. But I think moving forward, preference will out. I'm gonna not fill them in. I also had my Friday off, which was really nice, and I loved that. And I got to have like my traditional Friday off of choice. So a lot of times Jeff and I will use a Friday off to maybe have a longer weekend, or we might go do something together. Or for June, I attached it to our trip so I wouldn't have to take as many days off. So a lot of times my Friday off gets sacrificed to something else. But when it doesn't, I do one of my favorite things, and that is to go to Ponce City Market for literally about 2 hours. It takes about 30 minutes to get there and 30 minutes to get back if you're not doing it in the heat of Atlanta traffic. I go in, I get a $5 donut. I go to Bellina, which is just a super scrumptious Italian place. I always get the ragu and the mac and cheese sauce on the side so I can drizzle and dunk it at my wishes. And then I go to Modern Mystic and just pick out maybe a new crystal or two, or maybe if I want a candle or something. And I had such a lovely time. I did have a lot of paralysis analysis that day. And I actually have a not a plan with me, but a Hobonichi video with me about that particular Friday off. So if you're interested in all the details of how my brain exploded and all of that, feel free to go check that out. I also had a 5-mile run that day, which was pretty nice. And I did pay for that in spades. But I do like how this week turned out. I don't think that there's ever a time where I'm like, I hate how this week turned out. There have been spreads, full disclosure. This is the one where I was saying I kind of did it by accident, but it worked out in my favor. So this is the week of the 22nd through the 28th. So you'll see anything that's not colored in, I didn't do. Anything that is colored in, I did do. This washi is from Every Minute a Story as well. What kind of situation did I have with this? So this is a full plan with me week. So this whole week was filmed, and I was really happy that I used some of these task bars because I definitely, again, I'm the queen of buying kits because they're cute and then not getting through them very quickly and they hang out in my stash, or I just have issues with them. But I did get to use these 2 little task bars, and then I used a little square to mark a woman wine and wellness event that I went to support a friend of mine. Other than that, I'm trying to think of some other things. Like this is kind of, so you see the sad little emoji. This was kind of about the time that, like I was struggling before. This was where I just hit the brick wall emotionally and just could not come up for air, and didn't until literally Monday. And so even though this is really full, I really was struggling just to get through things and get things accomplished. And I think part of my coping was to just stay busy and try not to like get too overwhelmed. There were definitely some crying fits and some freakouts, but I think that overall that's really the only like solid indicator. I was just like having a breakdown, and I haven't even written any notes or anything because I just kind of didn't want any of that to be public. Like I said, it's one of those things that there's some parts of being emotional that I'm comfortable with sharing, and then there's just some parts where I'm just like, it's still raw and I'm not ready. And even though this is a sensitive time of year, for me, it was just not something I felt like sharing at this point. But yeah, that day was like done from pretty much, oh God, it was like 1, 2 o'clock. And then after that, like the day was just done completely, like atom bomb. Like we are talking Hiroshima size A-bomb, just lost my mind. So not ideal, but again, I'm really happy with some of the productivity I did manage to have through that. So there's that. And just as a shout out, most of the stickers that I use are obviously from Coffee Monster Co., but and I've obviously mentioned like Every Minute a Story when it's applied. This little binge watch sticker and then this Went Outside sticker are both from an Agenda 52 book that's from Hobby Lobby. I think it's called The Homebody, and I just love the colors in it, and I love that the newer books that they came out with have like 2 sheets per design. So it's like you don't have that panic that what if I find a better spot for this sticker. There's plenty to pick from and have that moment with over and over again. Now, as far as this week goes, there is no full plan with me. So I did do a vlog for the 31st, and I did a vlog for the 3rd. Was it the 3rd? Yes. That was way confusing. So I vlogged on the 31st and the 3rd. If everything comes together after I finish filming and I get the chance to edit, hopefully the 31st vlog will go up today. If not, it'll go up tomorrow. And then the one for the 3rd should follow. So the 31st should go up today or tomorrow. The vlog for the 3rd should go up in about a week or so, if I'm on track and if my brain is remembering that correctly. That's a lot to ask. Some things about this spread that I do want to call out. So this is one of the skinny Every Minute a Story washies that came with that Star Wars collection. The other is this super cute kind of like dangle border style. If you can find samples of it, knock yourself out. I'm so sorry. Excuse me. I did buy enough to like use for my May spreads and things like that. I didn't buy a ton. I know I keep saying that I really just don't have a lot in my stash of this brand. But it was really nice to pull it all out because I've been hanging on to it for literally almost a year, and not really using it, but using very, very little. So it was nice to kind of like use up some stuff. I felt like I got a lot of stickers in here. And I know that this is kind of like bumping into June and this is a May flip through, but I always love when I get to do my little geotag thing. Some other cute stickers that I was really excited to use was my memorial sticker, the rainbow on the beach. Love this shark. Love him. Love him. Cece caught 3 sharks. I originally put 2 and then she caught another, so 3. This super cute little turtle, I met the Sea Turtle Patrol. That's literally what they're called. And they told us about a turtle center that we actually ended up going to on Sunday, when we all needed like a break from the blazing beach sun, which is a totally different kind of sunshine. I swear it is. And then I love this like little group fire situation because we did a full moon fire and then we also did s'mores on the beach the last night. So we had like 3 different fires on the beach, which was like a first for I think all of us, which was really, really, really fun. So I'm super happy with how that turned out. Now, the last thing I do want to show you, and I don't know if I got anything from, there's one entry for May. So I started watching Attack of the Clones. Oh, that was the full movie. So, or at least the Attack of the Clones animated movie started in May. And then I ran out of space, so I made a little chart back here with some of the extra pages. It's not super fancy, and I don't even have a header on it. I used the same stencils, but I did use the blue to do a ball, like a circle. And I thought I was gonna do like the faces, since the first tracker had like some, like smiley faces to indicate the preference, but I chose to use colors instead of faces. I'm not gonna say that that's gonna hold, we'll see. So the unfilled in circle is because I haven't finished the series yet. I'm on season 3 of I think 7, and each season has like 22 episodes, and I'll watch a good chunk of them and then I'll need like a break. So I'll watch another series or a filler movie or a show just to kind of take a step back. Jeff and I watched, so in the main tracker, it gives you a space to write who you watched it with, or, but most of the time I'm watching these things by myself. So I wanted to like indicate with Jeff, and apparently I didn't close that bubble either. So we're gonna quickly throw that in there. So Jeff and I watched The Devil Below. It was like meh. It was meh. It was low budget. It was B. It was okay. Would I rewatch it? Yeah. But like, would I recommend it? No. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. We didn't finish it, and then I stupidly came home and forgot to finish it, and so the rental expired. So I didn't get to finish it, but I would recommend it. It was funny. It was cute. It was quirky. It's not meant to be super serious. It's meant to be very much so making fun of itself. Harry and Meghan, the Netflix thing, I finally decided to watch it. Unpopular opinion, I guess. I'm just kind of over the Harry and Meghan drama, I guess is the best word. I don't know. I wanted to watch it because I did enjoy the Oprah special back when all this kind of started. I felt like the Netflix special was good, but I felt like it didn't really give me anything that I didn't already know. Too Big to Fail. Very good, very industry heavy movie. So I work in finance. If you don't work in finance, it's probably going to fly completely over your head, be something you can fall asleep to. The cast was freaking awesome. If you want to watch something about kind of the 2008 crash, I would recommend The Big Short. I have watched that multiple times and love it. Another one that you might want to watch is Wizard of Lies. That's really good. And that's about Madoff and the Ponzi scheme. That's really good. So yeah, if you're looking for stuff like that. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, season 5. It gets a green. And it gets a green because I love the entire series as a whole. As a season, that was not my favorite. It felt... And I have this problem with a lot of Amazon things, and I still have not learned my lesson and still watch all the Amazon shows when I get the chance. But The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is one of my favorite Amazon shows. I feel like it's always been really good. And season 5 is really cute. There's a lot of time jumping, which I thought was really cute and well done, but it felt super rushed there at the end. You're just sitting there going into the last episode going, how are they going to... It felt very like HBO Game of Thrones final season. We're going to try to squish too much into like a couple episodes. It was too much. And I get really annoyed when that happens. Still would recommend the whole series. Air, it was good. It was informational. Great cast. Again, Amazon flub. Ed Sheeran, The Sum of It All. It was informational. It was musical. It was cute. It was heartwarming. It was relatable. He cried. I cried. Everybody cried. It was fine. Would I rewatch it? I did recommend it to some people who I know love Ed Sheeran. And then Queen Cleopatra on Netflix. I would recommend that. It was so good. Jada Pinkett Smith is like a narrator for part of it. Super good. Was really happy. You guys didn't ask for, this whole bonus part of the video, and I don't think I've ever gone through my watching list, but there it is for whatever it's worth. But that is May. In a nutshell, that's where we're at. I am so excited about a month of live streams with you guys. I'm also really, really excited to get set up for Q3 planning because I think I'm adding a new planner to the mix. I'm sorry, guys. I know we're halfway through the year and I've decided that we're going to add a new planner. I'm pretty sure I'm going to add it. I think I'm just down to picking size at this point. So I will leave you on that cliffhanger. Next week, as long as everything goes according to plan, we're going to be unboxing my Ritual Planner subscription kit and talking about what I'm planning to do for Letha, because that will be the following Wednesday. I will go ahead and do like a little bit of a warning. I may adjust the time or the content for the 21st with it being Letha. I really want to make sure, because usually the quarter setups are so much longer than any other video or any other live stream. So I really just want to make sure that we get through it, but I also don't want to miss prime kind of sunset hours either. So I'm going to kind of have to look into that and see what makes the most sense. We may flip the Q3 and the July setups, or we may do like a Hobonichi with me. I doubt that'll happen. It'll most likely be a time adjustment. So if you're catching this video and there's like a time where you don't need this video to be, let me know. It might end up being like about an hour earlier or something like that, just out of convenience, or maybe even like 4:30 as soon as I get off work. Because again, it is a longer video, but I want to make sure we get through everything, especially if we got a new planner coming into the mix. So just stay tuned for updates on that, and I'll post that to the community tab. But if you have any massive time constraints or a time that you're just like, oh, please don't do this because I really want to be a part of the live, let me know and I'll see what I can do. So yeah, other than that, I hope you guys are all doing well, enjoying June so far, and just having the best time ever. Thanks everybody for anybody that joined or is watching the replay. Feel free to leave comments, questions, live stream suggestions, video suggestions, all the good stuff. And until next time, enjoy creating your own happy little wonderlands. Good night, everybody.